How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to BryceBits, where you can get a little bit of wisdom. I'm Bryce Newberger, a pastoral mentor with Side-by-Side Counseling based in Arizona, and let's dive on in. Today, we are dealing with... Okay, this is an update, but let's see if we can pick up the full thing. I cut my wife off from our finances because she won't stop ordering takeout. Okay. So, 9 days ago... let me get you guys in focus. All right, here we go. 9 days ago, I made a post about how my unemployed wife has spent $1,176 on delivery apps in just a month. Wow, she is single-handedly keeping that industry afloat. And I tried to be a driver in my area, and they said they had too many drivers signed up already. With the economy what it currently is, man, people are needing to pick up these side jobs. This is egregiously, I like that word. This is egregiously outside of what we can afford to spend on takeout. Heck yeah, yes it is. And since she didn't seem willing to stop, I canceled our credit card and moved the money from our joint account into my own. Okay. Yeah. Well, I'll just say right here, you have to keep you guys alive. So if someone is having, so what we would call that, right, from a like within the perspective of, let's say, a counseling relationship or something like that, that would be a maladaptive behavior. You are spending way too much money. And so we would call that acting out. We would say that is, essentially misbehaving. So we do have a misbehavior here. You've confronted her, it seems like. I don't know how you confronted her. You just say she doesn't seem willing. So I wonder what that communication looked like. But yeah, this is a misbehavior that needs to be corrected, or there will be very serious impact on you guys. So I'm a big fan of people having a shared account and just, share and share alike, everything in common, that kind of thing. That's the kind of relationship I think people should work towards. Though not everyone starts there. But let's dig a little deeper and see what happens. So for the following few days, my wife kept talking about how I was financially abusing her. So one, she can't continue to spend money like that. Like that's not good. She needs to stop. But does she stay home? Do you guys have kids? Right. Like you say, she's unemployed, but what is, that doesn't mean that she doesn't provide financial value. So like, for example, if one partner stays home while the other goes to work, there are things. So for example, I work from home. My wife works in offices. And so when I'm home, I, clean up around the house. I do the dishes. I get the kids ready to school. I take them to school. Now I'm earning and she's not, but let's say, and she is, my wife is too. We both earn, but because of the entrepreneurial nature of my position, she earns a little bit more than me. And so, right. So the idea is, so your wife does have right to live and have money, right? She needs an allowance. With her misbehavior, it's different. It's different than a healthy relationship. And so don't confuse what a healthy relationship looks like with someone who is bankrupting you guys. She threw several tantrums despite apparently being severely she fell. Oh, I see what you're doing. You're being sarcastic. She threw several tantrums despite apparently being severely malnourished. I get it. She threatened divorce. Okay, big guns coming out. Threw a bunch of the food we had in the fridge away to try and strong arm me into letting her get takeout. Wow. And even tried to guess my bank account password a bunch of times. Sorry, my password isn't Taco Bell 123. The last one was how I learned if you try to guess someone's bank account password enough times, the bank will send them an automated email. Okay. There's problems. We got problems. That was until today, which was garbage day. When I took the last bag out before taking the bin down to the curb, I discovered half a dozen fast food bags and other takeout containers in it. This woman is cheating on you with DoorDash. My wife wasn't supposed to have access to money. I had no idea how she was affording the food. I confronted her about it. At first, she denied everything. I had to bring all of her fast food garbage in to get her to fess up. Okay. Yep. She had taken out a loan. Oh man. Now I thought that she had borrowed money from a friend or a family member, but she had taken out one of those predatory pay loans. Oh geez. Oh geez. Within the next hour, I froze my credit. I then drove her to the payday loan place where I paid the loan off in cash. I will not have to dip further into my savings to pay the rent. Okay. Oh, you know what? There you go. I suppose in a certain way, cutting her off was successful. She didn't order takeout anymore. She just drove to the restaurants to pick up her food for the low price of $20 for every $100 she borrowed, for $60 in fees in total. In addition, I told her that we would be getting divorced. So yeah, my marriage is over. I don't even know what alimony laws in my state are like, but I assume she'll happily live in a cardboard box under a bridge if Uber Eats will bring her food there. Wow. Okay. Let's save your marriage. Okay. Let's save your marriage. First of all, divorce, not a bad idea. Right. And some people would say, but Bryce, you're a pastor. Like, how can you say that? Okay, the institution of marriage is, from a Christian perspective, let me just come here for a second, is God ordained. So we would see you're married in the eyes of God. The state, though, has their own rules and laws. And to protect yourself, you need to file for divorce to save your accounts and savings. Now, I'm not saying that you give up on the marriage just because you have to file for divorce. This is something that really changed my perspective when I got divorced, and I was so against divorce, and I didn't file for divorce. Right, my ex-wife is the one who petitioned, but as I've studied and learned and listened to podcasts with lawyers and been to court myself and seen how the system works, you have no way to protect yourself from a bad spouse. Unless you have no legal way to protect yourself from a bad spouse. You did some of the other thing. You restricted your bank account. You removed money from her. These were all good things to do to save the family, right? To save you too. You haven't mentioned kids, so I'm guessing you don't have kids. So filing for divorce here, I'm actually a fan of it, but I don't want your relationship to end, and I don't want your marriage to end, even though divorce is now here. Does this person seem like a good marriage partner? No, not at all. But if there's a way, like, you obviously got married for a reason. You don't say how long you've been married here, I don't think. Yeah, you haven't said how long you've been married. But I'm going to assume, obviously, you guys got married for a reason. Your wife had this bad behavior pop up. And so the question is, it's worth noting that's not normal. And if you guys are getting used to watching my videos, you'll hear me say this time and time again, that's data. That is data for you to look at. Look at the data. So stopping your wife from ordering takeout food was going to bankrupt you guys. So you needed to solve that problem, right? So you took the right actions. But I always, when I counsel people, like pastoral counseling or meeting with them, I tell people that if you have a weed, right, in the ground, and you walk up and you pick the leaves off that weed, you haven't done much, right? You need to get it up by the root. And so the root of the problem is not your wife ordering takeout. I don't know what the root of the problem is. If she was, like scheduling sessions with me and we were working together, right? She definitely needs help. She needs mental health intervention, right? Why is she doing this? And so this is definitely an addiction. Addiction is usually rooted somewhere in abuse or trauma. That's usually where they come from. So what problem is she trying to solve with fast food, right? With these deliveries? What problem is she trying to solve? So when I'm getting my entrepreneurial business spun up, right, it was taking quite a toll on my family because my wife was bringing home one paycheck. She had a really good job at the time. And I was like, okay, this is a good anchor for us. We had an agreement where, she's going to hold the anchor in while I kind of build my brand from behind the scenes and get my practice up and all that kind of stuff. So, I don't know if I can call it a practice because I'm unlicensed. Keep in mind, I'm an unlicensed pastoral counselor in Arizona, all right? And I have no problem referring people to other licensed professionals. I do not make health diagnoses. I will never make a diagnosis. I do not see patients, right? It's clients. So anyways, Little legal disclaimer there. That being said, she needs help. She needs help. There's a problem here that she is trying to solve. And so I would say file for divorce, yes, but I would say don't necessarily give up on the relationship just yet. I would encourage her to get some help. I would encourage you to hold a little bit. I also don't recommend people get divorced and immediately rush back out into the dating sphere anyway. So you're going to have time anyways to process your divorce, get all the legal fees done, and work on you, right, for your own benefit. I don't see any problem with you here. I'm not like nothing's glaring that you need any significant help, but I'm just going to say going through divorce is not fun. Having a marriage end is not fun. So take some time for yourself. Don't just run out and, get on Tinder and Hinge and all that. That's the number one mistake I think people make. So yeah, this is another example of how a small problem like ordering too much takeout food can turn into a big problem. And so the point I was going to make is like for me and my wife, we love ordering DoorDash and Uber Eats and takeout. We love that. But when she was the only income and I was having to work a little harder and grind, and so we don't have all the extra floating expenses. If I was craving, let's say like a Subway sandwich, if I was craving like a cold cut sandwich, I would go down to the grocery store, and in the next grocery store order, I started taking over the groceries because she was at work, I was at home. I started saying, well, if I'm craving that, let me work it into the lunch. Right. And so by ordering deli meat and bread and having it a few times a week, now instead of just having it once, I get to have it a few times. Honestly, it's better, more fresh ingredients. Right. We loved pizza. And so I put pizza dough, pizza sauce, pepperonis on the grocery order, worked that in. And now every Friday, me, my wife, and my kids, we all get to make our own pizza. It's a fun family event. So it's not if she can't adapt, right, if she can't find a way to survive without ruining you financially, then we got a problem. We got a huge problem. Okay, let's look at some of the comments here. She has a serious food addiction. It isn't just a matter of buying takeout or not being able to cook. She needs professional help. That's not your responsibility. You're not the a-hole for wanting a divorce after this. Okay. Yeah, I agree. I do think it's a serious food addiction. She does need mental health. I think where Big Joey Joe 81 falls short is leaving it just at that. This, like I said, this is data. A food addiction doesn't just come out of anywhere. Maybe someone's just addicted to food, but really, where did this come from? Why did it start? What triggered this? You're probably not going to be, original poster op. You're probably not going to be qualified to really get to the root of it. Maybe you can, but get her some help. Like offer that. I would offer that if you can. It sounds like you have some extra income. You were able to pay off her loan. So good of you for doing that. I like the steps you took. But yeah, if you can, if you have it and you want to show some grace to your wife, soon to be ex-wife, hopefully future new wife again. I hope she can solve this and you guys can get back going on your relationship. Because divorce takes a toll, man. It's not fun. Let me see. I think divorce is the best course of action here. Yeah, well, you need to. I think divorce is the best course of action here. She needs professional help, but that's not your problem. Yeah, I agree. Once again, I agree. You need a way to protect yourself, and that's why, again, legally you have to file for divorce because she could super bankrupt you, and so she needs those purse strings cut a bit. She needs professional help. Absolutely true. Preach. But that's not your problem anymore. It is. Well, it kind of. If you were married to this person for an indeterminate amount of time, you obviously made vows at the altar for better or for worse, right? So if you want to honor those vows, I would say pick that problem up, right? Go the extra mile, right? So there's this idea in the Bible where Roman soldiers could make Jewish citizens carry their military pack for a mile. And this is where the term go the extra mile comes from. Jesus was saying, when you finish doing your duty and your duty ends, you've gone that mile, he says, go with them a second mile. Imagine what that Roman soldier's response would be. Whoa, what are you doing? Hey, let's keep chatting. Let's keep walking. Let's go another mile. Why? Well, you're obviously tired. Let me carry this pack for you. I can take it. That's go the extra mile. Sometimes people use go the extra mile and they're thinking like, oh, it just means 10% more. Like, just do 10% more. Go the extra mile. Jesus was saying go 100% extra. Go give 200%, right? Go double what is required. So you made a vow. I would say if you ever love this woman, if there's hope for restoring the relationship, keep add that problem willingly, gracefully to your plate and try to get her some help. Right? Show her some love. And maybe in the future, when you're at your low end, when you have a maladaptive misbehavior, hopefully it's not this bad, maybe she'll be there to pick your load up. There is a time to cut and run fully. I'm not a stick in there no matter what kind of person, but I do think I want to push people a little farther than they're willing to go. I'm glad you took steps to protect yourself financially. Amen. Preach. Sadly, there is just fundamentally something wrong with her, and soon she'll self-destruct, starting with divorce. Yeah, you're not wrong to a degree. There is something wrong with her. I don't know that you have to call it fundamentally wrong with her. Fundamentally, like that can mean like foundationally, like in her bones, there's something rotten to the core. I don't think that necessarily, and I'm not saying you mean that, you could not mean that as intense as it's coming across, but I do think that there is some help she needs. There is something seriously wrong here. One last response from original poster. When I paid off the payday loan, I decided that would be the last thing I ever did for her. It was far more than she deserved. Wow. Okay, so you've just written her off. See, here's my problem when it comes to marriage. We're getting more. Okay. My sister has been addicted to heroin for over 20 years. Okay, that's interesting. When that's in the family, there can be a habit of, again, we talked in the previous episodes about the co-addiction, the co-addict, someone who unfortunately, there's something in them that picks addicted partners. So when there's something in the family, that can happen. I haven't talked to her in about a decade. Oof. But this was the kind of crap she would pull. I remember how she and her loser boyfriend would steal stuff from my room to pawn. Yeah, that's rough. So they could buy more drugs. Honestly, I wouldn't put it past my wife at this point to start selling my things so she could buy more Chipotle. It's funny because we laugh at this, but it's actually pretty heartbreaking. I'm sorry. I'm just so furious as I worked every day. My wife sat around ordering takeout and living like a queen. And when the almost literal gravy train stopped, this is serious. This is serious stuff. But there's some great puns in here. She decided to imperil our financial future for more food. And my God, she's gotten so fat. She's basically waddling around like a penguin now. Interesting. Okay. But what really pisses me off is that after taking out a payday loan, instead of putting it into a new account to order takeout, she went to the restaurant drive-thrus. It was almost as if she wanted to stretch it to last for as long as possible, which wasn't an issue when it was money that I earned. She knew the payday loan was probably a one-time Hail Mary, so she actually, in her own twisted little way, tried to exercise financial responsibility. Okay, so a little bit more. People in the last post yelled at me for not communicating. We had fought about this dozens of times. Every time the credit card bill rolled in, I would tell her she needed to stop, that we were losing everything because of her habit. I told her again and again, but she didn't give a crap. She needed more of that garbage. Honestly, I don't care if she's depressed. I don't care if she's agoraphobic, which I doubt. I don't care. She has never shown even the slightest bit of remorse. Eventually, even my sister with her heroin-addled brain apologized for stealing my GameCube. My wife couldn't even do that. She's a lazy piece of crap for faking a disability, and people were blaming me as if that absolved her of all wrongdoing. It makes me a jerk, fine, an a-hole, fine, but I'm not screwing up the rest of my life because some dim-witted sloth with a disability can only muster up energy to get off her butt when it involves food she bought with money that someone else has earned. I think my computer is smoking from reading that. Well, okay, there's a lot of trauma here. And having a traumatic past with a sister who was addicted to heroin, there might be more here than you realize for you to sift through, original poster. If your sister had that, that's not your fault. That's not your problem. But then you picked a wife who has a very serious addiction, and I would say for you also get some therapy, get some help, get in and do some work internally, so that way you don't accidentally pick someone else very similar to this, because these things can run in patterns. Having all this extra data, I would say, yeah, divorce is smart to protect yourself. As far as if you ever loved her, rooting for her, yeah, I would just say, for my own closure, if possible, I'd like to at least know, is this just something in the person I married, or did this come from somewhere? And even just for my own closure, if there's no looking back, which it definitely seems like you are past the point of wanting to walk back. Why did you marry her in the first place? Like, what attracted you? Did it disappear? Was this always there and you didn't see it? Were you unhealthy and then you got healthy and she didn't, and so you outgrew her? I just think there's more here than just divorce and move on. I think for your own health, you should dig a little deeper there. Guys, that has been another episode for us. If this is advice you're interested in, you want something personalized to you, you can schedule a session with me at sidebysidecounseling.com. You can schedule a free 15-minute consultation with me, and I'm not a stickler on time, so we can just chat for a little bit and see if we're a good fit. If not, maybe I could refer you to someone else. But ultimately, if you're going through stuff like this, I want you guys to be looking for help. So I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.